Hello, in this video I want to talk a little bit about something that we're seeing kind of post-pandemic, that 78% of homeowners say they have some level of buyer's remorse. And most of that buyer's remorse is coming because they've had unexpected repair costs. And so I want to talk a little bit about how you can avoid being in that situation. And the first one is just to have go in with the expectation that if you're going to be a homeowner, you're going to have some repair costs. How much and how expensive they are is going to depend on a lot of different things. If you buy a brand new home, you shouldn't have too much that's expensive for quite some time. But if you're buying a resale home, depending on the age of the home, you might have some significant repairs that come up. So that's the first thing going in. The second thing is to go ahead and have a home inspection. That way you have an idea of what home repairs and maintenance issues you might have coming up sooner rather than later, so you can be prepared for that. Beyond that is just doing some routine maintenance to keep your home in as good a condition as you possibly can. So let's start with the outdoors. The first and primary thing you got to look at is the roof. Poorly maintained roof can create all kinds of other issues for you, and so it's easier to address any issues with the roof sooner rather than later, before you create bigger problems for yourself. The first thing is just to check roof for any damage. After any major storms here in Florida, especially if there's hail, there can be hail damage to your roof. Even really bad thunderstorms can cause some damage. You don't just have to check your roof after a hurricane. Best is to call in a professional if you think you might have some roof damage. If you see missing shingles on the roof or things like that, those are some things to watch out for. And that stuff you can look at from the ground. Otherwise, you might need to go up on the roof to see what's really going on. The second area to look at is if you have gutters, to check them, make sure they're not clogged. If they get clogged with leaves and debris, that can cause a buildup in the gutter line, which actually can do damage to your roof. If there are tough to reach areas, again, call in a professional. Don't try and do it yourself. There's too many accidents in Florida of people falling off ladders or off of roofs doing these kinds of things. So definitely check for any kinds of areas where there might be any kind of clogging. You should clean your gutters once a year by removing large debris that may be blocking the flow of water towards the downspouts. And also, it's a good idea to flush your gutters once a year to clean them out and make sure you've got good water flow. Another area you should check is your siding. Make sure the siding is well painted and sealed. Depending on what kind of siding you have, there are different types of maintenance you'll need to do, but it's a good idea to walk around the perimeter of the home during various seasons to check for any deterioration, rotting, peeling paint, damaged siding, cracks in stucco, things like that. Repair damaged areas right away so you don't end up with past or water intrusion. Trim trees. If you have large trees in particular, make sure they're not overhanging your roof or touching the roof. That can create risk for storm damage and things like that, even on windy days. Definitely a good idea to remove any branches that are touching the roof or overhanging the roof. Indoors, check your plumbing. Make sure you don't have any leaks. The average homeowner's insurance claim costs over $12,000, and a lot of that is from water damage. So checking to make sure you're checking around all of your faucets, all of your downspouts, all of your underneath, all of your cabinets, to make sure you see if you've got any leaks. If you've got, make sure also you're using some white distilled vinegar down your drains to make sure you keep them clog free. You can do that a couple times a month. Let the vinegar sit there for 30 to 45 minutes and then flush it with cold water. Also, don't forget to clean out your garbage disposal. Your water heater. Over time, sediment builds up in the bottom of the water heater, which can corrode the tank and the heating elements, and that'll shorten its lifespan. It costs about $1,000 to $1,500 to replace a hot water heater. Flush the system with hot water annually to prevent sediment buildup. You drain the water that's in the tank. Usually you can run a hose out to your yard. Don't just let it drain into your garage if that's where your hot water heater is. And if it's a house, you definitely want to run a hose to drain it all the way out. Stir up the sediment at the bottom of the tank by opening the cold water supply valve briefly. You just keep doing that until you've got the sediment out. And then also check for any corrosion. Don't forget your dryer vent. Lint fires are one of the more common types of fires in a home. So make sure you're checking your dryer vent on a regular basis. Stove and hood vents need to be cleaned periodically, so they often will get a buildup of grease, and that can cause a grease fire that expands quickly. So make sure you keep that area clean to prevent any grease fires. Clean your refrigerator coils on a regular basis. You can vacuum them off to keep them clean. You should do that periodically as well. Your electrical system, go ahead and check for power surges. Make sure your circuit breakers, you understand how your circuit breaker is set up. Also check your foundation. Again, for any cracks or settlement, anything that's larger than 1/8 of an inch is something that you want to be addressing right away. And then also your HVAC system. In Florida, we don't forget about this too often because without air, it's unbearable. So make sure you check and you clean replace your filters regularly. Also be aware that one of the most common areas of failure for AC systems is that your drain gets clogged, and that will cause your system to turn off. So it's a good idea to put some vinegar in the system periodically. If it does happen to get clogged, you could take a wet dry vac out to the drain line outside your home and vacuum that out to get a good seal. Vacuum it out, that'll help clean it out and prevent any leaks. So these are just a few of the tips for some routine maintenance you can be doing on your home to help keep costs down in terms of any repairs that you might need. Again, this has been Chris LaChava with Remax Heritage Professionals. I hope this information is helpful to you as a homeowner. If there's topics you'd like me to cover, please let me know. I'd be happy to do so. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And remember, if you know of anyone looking to buy or sell a home in Central Florida, please reach out to me. I'd love to help them.